Welcome to For the Love of Games, how Fragforce uses Salesforce. Hashtag for the kids to save kids' lives. You can go to the next slide, please.
Maybe.
All right, so this is a future-looking statement, forward-looking statement. You guys have seen this many times. We are a publicly traded company. When you trade our stocks or you buy our products, do it with publicly available information. All right, so quick introductions. My name is Andrew Kunji. I am from the Herndon, Virginia Fragforce chapter. We all have some pretty fun titles up here. I'm the Chief Duct Tape Officer. What that means is that I just get stuff done. I come in with electrical cords and duct tape and find budget wherever we need to and make stuff happen.
Hi, I'm Duncan McLeod. I'm a business analyst here at Fragforce or at Salesforce in San Francisco. I'm also the HQ loot guard for Fragforce, which means I'm in charge of keeping track of all of our equipment and our gaming equipment and everything we need to make Fragforce work here for us.
And I am Ben Gray, primary feline wrangler for Fragforce SF, which basically means I have to coordinate all of the events, make sure everything is all put into place, and scramble and pull out my hair and do all of the appropriate things before any large event of any sort.
Same, just without duct tape. All right.
That's what I'm missing. You see. This is why you've done this for longer than I have.
So, has anyone heard of Fragforce? Yeah? Yes, a couple.
That's awesome.
What about Extra Life? Yes.
Yeah.
Extra Life. Yeah, there we go.
Child's Play. That's an international version. So, a little bit about who we are. So, Fragforce, we are a group of gamers from Salesforce. We tried to embrace the unique philanthropic nature of our company and their 1-1-1 model by doing something we love, which is playing games. We work with a lot of the different organizations that you see up here, specifically Children's Miracle Network hospitals. We've done an event actually here in San Francisco at the Benioff Children's Hospital where we do gaming marathons, so board, console, PC games, and we stream it live on Twitch. These marathons, we solicit donations from friends and family to try and raise as much money as possible. We also do some fun games on camera, like when you donate, Andrew has to eat a weird jelly bean. Some fun stuff like that, but net, we work with Salesforce, through Fragforce, through these organizations to raise money, save kids' lives. So each of us has our own unique story of why we do what we do. For me, it's actually because it's been changing over time, actually. So it started with me wanting to do this because it really brought me back to when I was a kid, like playing Quake 1 with my cousins, building my first PC with a sketchy graphics card. It had different inputs and outputs on it, but it was my first computer that I got to build. Really brought me back to that. But most recently, my daughter actually had to have some procedures in a hospital where she was underneath an x-ray machine, and I could see that she was terrified. She just got the death grip on my finger. And the nurse brings over an iPad, and I get to play games with her while she's underneath it, and I could see her nerves calming, and it was very, very, very awesome.
For me, I love video games. It's always been a passion of mine, and children's hospitals saved my life when I was a kid a couple different times for various reasons, and now I'm here today, and I get to use the passion of mine to make sure other kids get the same shot that I did when I was little because of the children's hospitals.
And for me, I actually kind of stumbled on it by accident. I was just looking for something to do as a volunteer opportunity, and I loved gaming, and I saw this, and you were one of the people who originally invited me and was like, hey, we're doing this event at UCS Benioff. It was 2 years ago now, I think, almost 3. And I went in, and I didn't come in expecting anything, and then I went in and I saw the hospital, and I saw the kids, and I saw what we could do, and I was so struck with how awesome it was that I just had to keep going with it.
That's awesome. And this picture is really the why, because a lot of these kids and families that are receiving this treatment, a lot of them don't have the money that they need to be able to get the services that they need, but also reminding the kids that they can still have fun while they're in these hospitals.
Yeah.
So we talk about this we. So where in the world are we? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? That's for you, Paulson. We are in 14 different sites, 4 different countries, and this year we've had like a really breakout year, so this is really big for us. And we weren't ever this big, like doing this many events in this many countries. It started really small with 2 different sites where we raised $17,000 with 40 engineers in 24 hours, and we're like, that's pretty good. We started with word of mouth, Chatter, our own internal tool, getting the word out there, but these guys are here to tell you about how we are making this mission move a lot faster and how we've been able to achieve this.
Yeah, so as we grew as an organization from small to global, we needed to scale at that rate. We had a bunch of different needs that came along with growing so quickly, which is the needs to coordinate our growing number of members, our growing number of locations, tracking where in the world all our swag, like these awesome t-shirts that are available on the chairs here if you want to grab one before you leave today, our budgets that we were getting from Salesforce, how to organize events, how to track those participants so we can make sure those same people got to come back event after event and continue helping us out and having a great time. And again, we needed to do that all on a global scale. And so we went for the best tool that we knew, and that was Salesforce. So I'm going to give you a quick demo here about how we use Salesforce to scale our organization. So right here is the Fragforce Salesforce instance homepage. And you'll see along the top there, we've got a bunch of our own custom objects that help us track all of this information. And just as a demo, I'm going to go over here to Fragforce sites, where we can see all the sites that we have on the globe. And right there is a Dreamforce site, where you are today. So this site represents this theater right here. And as you go down, you can see some pretty cool stuff. First of all, I want to call out right here, we have our Extra Life goal and progress meter, and that's pulled in using the Donor Drive API from Extra Life, and they're a partner here with Salesforce as well as with Extra Life, and they're sitting right over there. We're really thankful for that support. We also have site descriptions that we use to describe our sites, and pay attention to this one because you're going to see this come back a little later. Down here, we also in-text track our goal, how much we raised, and linking that up to the Extra Life site ID. It's actually updated in real time using that Donor Drive API, so we never have to update it ourselves. As we raise money, that gets pulled into the org and updated, and we can track our progress live. We also can track any Twitch users or Twitter IDs or anything like that that is associated with each site. And as I go over to the related objects, this really shows you how we link it all together. We can see we've got our contacts. That represents the participants at each site who are associated with that site, so we can reach out to them and get them to come back to events. The events that are scheduled for that site, this one happens to be the talk you're sitting at right now. The equipment that is at each site, for example, we may or may not have an Xbox One tucked underneath the stage here. Mum's the word on that one. The available swag at each site. Today we've got some buttons that if you want to come find us afterwards, you can wear, as well as the t-shirts. And also our budgets. This is an imaginary budget, but we have $1,000, let's say, for this talk today. I wish. Also, we use cases to track swag transfer, equipment transfer, if we need to move stuff between locations. And also, we use the Agile Accelerator plugin to build a Kanban board for tracking our progress and building out this instance ourselves. And there it is. So as a global group, we were able to scale up in 1 year and achieve these huge numbers, hugely in part to the Fragforce org.
Definitely.
And then Ben is going to tell you about how we didn't stop there.
Absolutely. You can keep clicking that. So here's the thing, though. Once we decided that this was a thing that we could do, we realized that this wasn't just something we could use for ourselves internally. We realized that we could take what we're putting into this org and turn it into something that we can engage not just our own teams and our own team members and our own players, but all of the folks who are out there that want to play, that want to know, that want to be able to donate, want to be able to help these kids. So what we did was we took this and we used a whole bunch of tools that Salesforce uses to expand that and to engage other people. So one of the first things we did was we used Heroku Connector. Our good friend Paulson, who wrote a lot of this, thank you, Paulson, I'm sorry you couldn't be here, actually used the Heroku Connector to hook up all of this Fragforce information, all of these sites, all of these events, directly to our front-end web front, the salesforce.org website. And what that means is that anytime we update records, we create new events, we create descriptions, we add addresses, we add sign-up forms. All that stuff is immediately available to the general public without us having to think about how to put it in. We just have to write it down and everything goes right there. Slide, please. The other thing that we can do then on top of that is to actually say, well, how are we going to get to know if these people are being engaged? And utilizing things like Sites and Visualforce, we created sign-up forms. Sign-up forms mean that people who are interested in our events can click a simple link, fill out a form. Not only do we now have a list of all the folks who are being contacted, but we now have them as contacts in our organization, which means that we can continue to engage them. Whether that means telling them about the current event, telling them about future events, all sorts of things. All of these things get enabled just because of utilizing these connectors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of that. So I'm going to move on over here. And I'm going to go to that wonderful fragforce.org. if I can spell correctly. All right, so what you're seeing here is our fantastic front-end website, fragforce.org. Now, what you'll see up here is you'll see these two tabs, these Sites tabs and these Event tabs. Now, if I click on this and I go to All Sites, one of the things you're going to notice is that we've got all of these sites, and each one of these is related to one of those site records that you were seeing in Duncan's demo in the org. So let's click on the Dreamforce one. You'll notice all of those description fields that he was talking about and he told you to remember are actually sitting right here on the site. So if we want to update this information, we change it in the Fragforce org, it shows up right here. And we've also got our upcoming and past event. This is now past event because it's already started. But we have all of this stuff available here. And one of the things that you'll notice if we go to this past event is that we have this little pre-registration URL link here. Now, if I were to click on this URL link and open this up in a new tab, you'll notice I've got a little sign-up form. And if I enter my name here, and I enter an email, and I check this checkbox here, and I hit the register button, what I've done is I've gone on ahead and registered for this event. Now, if I were to go back over here, and I were to go to my Fragforce site, and I were to go to Dreamforce, and I were to go to the related tab, and I were to go to this Fragforce event, you will notice that in the related list for this Fragforce event, I am listed as a event participant. And the other nice thing about that is not only was I an event participant, I am now a contact associated to that site. So now that site knows that I'm here and that they can reach out to me for any other sites, any other site information, be it just updates on events or any sorts of things. And then once we get people further engaged, we can enter more information like their own extra life IDs, and all of that stuff gets updated thanks to the Donor Drive API. All of this stuff can all be done just with a few clicks of a button directly in the org, and we can engage all of the people who may be interested in these events and in helping out kids.
That's right.
So easy to do once you get everything set up. Love it. All right, so back to there we go. All right, I think that means that we're near the end here, so I think it's time to, this back and forth clicky thing. Anyway, so I think we've got a few things that we can do here together, right? Let's talk about the things that we can do in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you guys have done with Roku, Salesforce, Donor Drive, and making us connect with all of our people in a whole new way, getting all of our contacts streamlined, all of our events streamlined, it's awesome. So high five to you guys.
High five, yes.
I think all of you can do what we've done. So we've got a Trailhead module up here that you guys can visit. The presentation will be available after this as well. And you guys can do exactly what we've done. Whatever your use case is, you can do things just like this.
And if you're feeling inspired about Extra Life and about helping kids, you can go to extralife.org and register your own user profile, join or form a team. Or if you want to join our team, you can head over to fragforce.org, find the closest Fragforce location for you, find the next event, and go attend and go help them raise money for those kids and keep those kids healthy and happy, even though they're in the hospital.
Shameless self-promotion.
Yes.
All right, so obviously there's lots of stuff, and even if you're not interested in something like Extra Life or Children's Miracle Network or anything like that, the biggest thing to take away from this, as far as we're concerned, is that we want to engage. We want to be able to help people. We all do. I think everyone here wants to be able to help people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to us prattle on for 20 minutes. So the fact is that whatever way you can do it, find a way to help out people, whether it's kids, whether it's adults, whether it's friends, whether it's family, it doesn't matter. And if you can use a tool like this to help, whatever you can do to make it as efficient and as effective as possible, all of these tools are available for you. So never feel like you don't have the tools to help you do that sort of thing.
So thank you for coming to listen to us and hearing about how we use Salesforce to raise money for our charity of choice. If you have any questions, we have a couple minutes left. So if anyone has any questions, or
wants one of the few T-shirts.
There's also the T-shirts,
yeah,
and if you can't find your
T-shirts,
size,
we also have some free buttons.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, have a great Dreamforce, everybody, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.